After my dad remarried his affair partner, she moved into my house pregnant and asked me to leave, but I had to remind them I own it. My parents divorced 3 months ago, and things have been incredibly hectic for me and my mother. As my father earns less than my mother, in the divorce, he asked for the house we were living in. He did not get the house because I am the owner of it. He insisted that he wanted to stay in the house because it is closer to his job. While my mother can shift, as my mother's office was a 3-hour drive from our home but a 30-minute drive from my grandparents' house. As this was an amicable settlement, there weren't any papers signed, but my mother told me that I'll have to live with my dad. I hated every bit of it, but my mother, like always, told me that just because they are going through a divorce does not mean I am supposed to help my dad out, so I should simply adjust. I could have told her that I do not wish to be stuck adjusting like she was, but I held my tongue. Fast forward to now, my dad married his affair partner 2 months into the divorce, and not only that, he brought her home with him. It pissed me off seeing her in the house that I grew up in, trying to take the role of my mother, but I still did not cause a scene. Because of everything, I was doing my best to ignore her entire existence and mind my own business. I did not get in her way and made sure that she did not get in mine. I barely spoke with my dad, and every day after I came home from college, I would go back to my room. Now, when my father told my mother that he is divorcing her, my mother kicked him out of the house, the one good thing she did, and he lived with the AP until the court hearing was done. During this time, my mother shifted me into the master bedroom because she did not want his side chick sleeping in the same bed as she did. I understood her logic, and I moved into the master bedroom. We burnt the mattress together because my mom knew that the AP had dropped by our house, and she did not want me sleeping on that bed like she had to. We also threw out the couch I caught some making out on when I was 16. So, relevant to the story, I have the master bedroom. The AP not only stole my dad, but also dared to sit me down on a weekend while my dad was there and tell me that she needs me to move out of the master bedroom because she is about to be 4 months pregnant and staying in the master bedroom would be incredibly comfortable for her. I looked at her audacity and I told her no. I told her that the room she sleeps in, the guest bedroom, has an attached bathroom. She would not require the master bedroom for that, and I left the conversation because I thought I was being logical, and it made sense, but not to her. 2 days later, she told me that she is done living with me. She does not want any strangers in the house when she's pregnant and wants me to move out to the university dorms. I asked my dad if he was the one who put her up to this, and my dad said how I should look at the family and take care of the unborn child because I'm older. I laughed in their face and told the SMM that she is more than welcome to leave the house if she does not like the room allotted to her. She turned to my dad and said something akin to, "You are going to let your son speak to me like that?" Before my dad could say anything. I told her that she can take him with her to whatever place that they would be better suited for because I own this house, and I do not wish to live in the same house with ungrateful people like her. She started screaming at my dad because she was under the assumption that he was the owner of the house. I told both of them that they had an hour to pack whatever they needed, and I needed them to leave. I was done seeing my dad and her pretending to be a happy family in the house which they kicked my mom out of. They left eventually, after screaming at me a bunch, and then I received calls from my mom. She said I'm an extremely selfish person, just like my father, and I've been wondering if I was truly selfish for kicking them out. I will try to give the backstory here because a lot of you had been asking about that. I am 22, male, and I have known about my dad's infidelity since I was 16 and walked in on him kissing a woman in our living room. He is a teacher at the local middle school, and my mother is an architect. Both of them led extremely busy lives, but I never thought that my father would stoop so low as to cheat on my mother like this. When I tried to tell my mother about it, the way she reacted made it pretty obvious that she was in denial. It was not even the subtext that my dad had been cheating on my mom for a while, and my mom knew about it but refused to accept the truth. I tried to tell her about this whole situation repeatedly, but she refused to listen. She simply could not fathom the idea that her high school sweetheart was over her. I told her to confront him, and every time I did, I was the one she took her rage out on, calling me disrespectful towards my father. It was strange, seeing the farce of a relationship they had, and how tightly my mom clutched onto that facade of a happy relationship. It was sad. When I confronted my father asked me what I was planning on doing about it. It was not like I have any options, and if I bothered him too much about it, it would not be an issue for him to kick me out. He reminded me that I am almost 18, and it will not be unheard of if he were to kick me out. So yeah, the situation was pretty bad. When I told my mother about this finely veiled threat, she told me that she can make sure that he can no longer threaten me like this, but I have to promise to listen to everything she said, which included I had to pretend to be oblivious to my dad's cheating. When I told her that I do not want to play these games of charade, My mom insisted that we must care about the image of the family, and we mustn't air out the dirty laundry. It was funny hearing her say that because my dad has done everything to make it obvious he did not care. I had no idea why she cared, but I wanted to respect her wishes, so I agreed. My mom was the owner of the house, so it was pretty easy changing the ownership. That's pretty much how I ended up with a house in my name. The reason why I couldn't move out of my house was that I am a self-funded student. My home is near my university, and I am working my way through college to graduate without a huge student debt. It would have been extremely hard on me if I were to move out. That's why my dad could threaten me. But as far as everything else is going, my mom is still upset with me because of the fiasco. I did. My dad has been calling me names because how dare I kick him and his expecting a fair partner on the street. But I have got a feeling he's madder at me for making sure his of a wife knew what a lying bastard he is because he didn't bother telling her that the house was mine even though he knew. My grandparents, mom's parents, learned about what I did and told me that they want to have a chat with me. I don't know if I want to go there as my mom is living with them right now. Honestly, I have no idea why my mother decided to move out the way she did, but it is what it is. Should I do it? I don't want to have her call me selfish to my face again because I do not think that I was. My mom is moving back with me. I went over to my grandparents' house after uni. It's a 3-hour drive from my uni, and I planned on staying over for the weekend. My grandparents looked angry with me, and I understood their attitude. The conversation was very tense, and I was genuinely worried that they were going to go off on me when Mom came back after work. She was surprised to see me, but she didn't look angry anymore. We hugged after 2 months of barely being able to see each other, and I low-key felt emotional. She fussed over me a little, talking about how I looked tired and stressed, which is true. I wasn't taking care of myself that much, and having AP in my house was irritating. I told her that I'll take care of myself now and that I don't have to deal with AP, and that brought a shift in the mood. She insisted that I was rude for behaving the way I did. I was supposed to be mature and responsible. I told her that I was both because I did take care of the person I loved. She refused and started saying how kicking an expecting woman out on the streets was not me taking care of her. That's where my grandparents interjected. They told her to understand that kicking out that woman wasn't the best way of showing my love, but given she did ruin my mom's marriage, it's only fair that she gets the same. Karma is and it was time for her to get served. I am paraphrasing, but that is pretty much how this went. My mother seemed to consider what they were saying. I told Mom that she owned the house before I did, and she was the one who paid for it. Dad did nothing to help her out and instead cheated on her. There's no reason why she must be nice to him or his AP when he hasn't shown the same decree. I asked her to come home with me, and my grandparents agreed. They told her to go home with me. My mom said she'll think about it, and last night she told me that she will. So we will be driving home tomorrow, and as far as Dad is concerned, last I heard that he is moving in with AP into her parents' basement. So that's pretty much it. You are NTAOP. The only a-hole in this story is your dad. He cheated on your mom and then moved into the same house with his affair partner. He's so entitled. Mom is too harsh on you, OP. You are NTA. I would have done the same. My daughter and I have had our fair share of difficulties. We get along better now, but since I don't see her as often as I'd like to, the times when we do see each other are important. She usually celebrates Christmas with my family since her mom is an agnostic Jew, and it's an important time for us. My daughter was previously my son and came out as transgender to me 2 years ago. I honestly blame the last Christmas she spent with my family for her telling her mother so long before me. I think she has been uncomfortable with my family and missed the past few years because my family reacted badly about her coming out as being attracted to men. She doesn't want to be called gay now, as in she sees herself as a straight girl. The last Christmas she celebrated with us, it was my mistake for telling them at all, but I didn't know how to cope with it at the time. They were saying some things to her which weren't right, especially since she was really just a kid, and she reacted by crying and literally running out, which just escalated everything. At first, I was excited to have her agree to Christmas with my family again, but now I'm realizing that what happened is going to be that, but much worse. I don't want to see my daughter crying again, and I want to improve our relationship. My solution seems to be causing more issues. I was thinking I could celebrate Christmas with my family without her, and then do a separate Christmas celebration with her. I even told her she could bring her boyfriend, something she would not be able to do if she went to my family's Christmas. The issue is the only other days around that time that I'm free. I'm doing Christmas with my fiance's family, and then me and the guys been friends since high school. Have this tradition that I can't skip. My fiance is also struggling to be accepting, so I can't bring my daughter to her family's Christmas either. My daughter was upset because I had talked about how great our Christmas was going to be since we hadn't seen each other in a while. I said that we're still going to have a great Christmas, and honestly, a better one without my family. She says she doesn't care about not being able to celebrate with my family. She says that she wanted to celebrate with me, and I told her she still will. She started saying that she's always the lowest priority in my life and that she doesn't want to try to have a relationship with me anymore. For any other dads out there, I'm pretty sure you can understand why I'm writing here. That hurt, but there's nothing else I can really do, so would I be the a-hole? I thought she was just being sensitive, but typically when your kid is being sensitive, it's still important. I know that from experience. Buddy, your daughter has told you that she's the lowest priority in your life because you've shown her that. That hurts. That's because it's true, and you know it. YTA. Ask your daughter what she needs from you and do it. If you want this to be right, you are her father. Act like it. YWBTA. If your daughter is your priority, make her your priority. Pick her. Ask her how she wants to celebrate, whether it's just the two of you or whatever family she wants to celebrate with. She should never be made to feel uncomfortable because she's trans. She should come first. She's more important than your high school buddies, your fiancé who is struggling to be accepting, or your family who made her cry by telling her that. You can't change these commitments. You're telling her that they're more important than her than not. I, 30, female, have been friends with my friend Mary, 27, female, for roughly 5 years. We're completely different people who met at work and somehow became pretty close friends. 3 years into our friendship, Mary started becoming sick. No one really knew what was going on, but it all escalated into her passing out at work and needing an ambulance to get to a hospital. I could sense she was scared because she didn't know what was wrong with her. I took it extremely seriously and stood by her side through it all. Whenever she texted or called me because of her medical emergency, aka her being scared to collapse or faint randomly, I'd immediately answer and go see her. I spent many days by her side, and often spent all day accompanying her until her husband or a direct family member took over. This all went on for roughly a year, until she was finally diagnosed with severe anxiety and panic disorder. She did get it treated through therapy and returned to a new normal, being able to do things alone again. In the meantime, my life had changed drastically. I found a new job, met my now husband, and we moved into our own place. Naturally, we hadn't seen and spoken much during that time because I was so busy. Anyway, I found out that Mary's condition had gotten worse recently when she called me in the middle of the night asking me to accompany her until her husband would be back from work. I did go to see her, and upon asking her why therapy was no longer helping, she claimed she quit therapy because she wanted to get through it on her own. I asked her if her family knew, but she said she didn't want to worry them, so they don't know. Her husband knows. Well, her calls became more frequent again, but this time it was hard for me to just leave everything and be there for her. At first, I was there for her again, but with time, I just didn't have the energy to do so anymore. Her requests became irrational and more demanding, and while I have sympathy for her and her condition, I see no point in putting up with it if she's refusing proper medical help, let alone help from her immediate family. I started making up excuses why I couldn't help her at certain times. It all boiled down to last Thursday when I got a message from her at 4 a.m. asking me to take her to her parents' place because she was having a medical emergency. I saw the message, but I ignored it because I just couldn't take it anymore. In fact, I ghosted her and went back to sleep. The next day, I pretended to have slept through her text and found out she had managed to stay at home until her husband got there, but she didn't fail to make me feel bad for ignoring her messages. She's given me the cold shoulder since. I know she's mad I didn't answer or help her when she needed me. I do feel guilty, but I thought if it really was an emergency, she could call an ambulance. So Reddit, AITA for ignoring my friend during another one of her medical emergencies? NTA at all. So many people feel so entitled to make their medical problems other people's responsibilities, whether it may be mental or physical. I also do sympathize with Mary, and I understand how much you have tried to help. But she needs to understand that you are not her on-call caretaker. If she wants that, then she needs to look into a professional or a consenting adult that is okay with playing such a role. Clearly, you have started to put up your boundaries, and I commend you for that. She isn't thinking about how this can affect your own physical and mental health, as well as those around you, like your husband and potential future pets and children. I would suggest just having a conversation with her about it and explaining how you are simply not capable of playing this role for her. Although you want to be a part of her life and support her, you cannot be who she calls every time. Your friend is very manipulative, and it is not your fault that she refuses to get the help she needs. She's using you as a scapegoat since she has no one else to blame her problems on, and now this is her use for you, nothing more. You are not a source of comfort for this woman. She wants someone to buy her victim's story and to play the blame game when they refuse to comply. I would suggest you go fully no contact. She is a very abusive person by giving you the cold shoulder the one time you wouldn't be at her beck and call. And that says a lot more about her and her condition than what she says about herself. I firmly believe this woman has a serious mental illness. You need to cut her out of your life. It will continue to escalate with a person like this. She needs help that no average person can provide. NTA.